We live, we live. Welcome, welcome. Let me get my computer out of the way. I decided to go live, man. It's been a lot of talk lately. I'm here to address a couple of things. The first thing, though, that I want to talk about is it's a lot of narratives going on right now about this game. And I think that there's a lot of false narratives going on. Let me know if you guys can hear me okay. I decided I'm going live. Welcome to New Stripe City, a YouTube channel for diehard Bengals fans. I am your host, Ace Boogie. Yes, sir, we here. So, off the dome, you guys know I like to go live. It's been a while since I've gone live. I'm about to go live again. And we got to talk about this Titans game, man. All right. So, first off, the first thing that I'm hearing a lot of is that the Titans are just going to run all the way up and down on the Bengals' top five run defense. Let's just stop right there. You guys know, if you have watched throughout this whole season, I respect Derrick Henry. I feel like he's the best running back in the league. I've been saying that for years before a lot of people were crowning him the king. But if you really think that he's just going to rip and run through a top five defense, I don't know what to tell you. I think that we're definitely going to limit Derrick Henry. That's a matchup that I think goes in our favor. It's not like this Bengals team is like the Bengals team from last year where they allowed the Ravens to just run all through us, run all over us. That would make sense. And against that team last year, he did his thing. He did all right. They didn't win the game, but he did all right. We all know that DJ Reader, we all know that Josh Tupou and all of these guys are there. And it's a completely different run defense. And here's the other thing that I keep hearing come out. Oh, the Bengals have lost three defensive line starters. And so they're in trouble for this game, specifically with Derrick Henry. All right, number one, shout out to my man Larry Ogunjobi. That's definitely going to be a major loss, but not in the run game. That is a loss in the pass rush game. Larry Ogunjobi is a pass rush specialist defensive tackle. The other one is my man Mike Daniels. Mike Daniels was just activated like last week, so he hasn't really been here the majority of the season. Like Josh Tupou has played a lot more than Mike Daniels. So that's another thing that kind of threw me off. And then Trey Hendrickson as well. He's playing. That is very important. He's going to be in this game. And here's the other thing. There's been a lot of talk about, oh, we're going to put pressure on Joe Burrow. We're going to do this and that. We've literally played every single like D line that you could play, right? And we still were able to win. But here's the other thing. What is your offensive line going to do? Because you've given up 47 sacks this season. So I haven't heard anybody talking about, oh, is how what are we gonna do against Trey Hendrickson and all of these guys? Because you got to deal with those guys too. That's the other thing. Here's another one. They have no answer for the MIGOS whatsoever. They're one of the worst cornerback rooms, secondaries when it comes to passing. That's literally our strength. That's our strength. So one of your weaknesses is our biggest strength. Here's the other thing. You don't move corners from side to side. I understand that. That's your scheme. That's what it is. That's going to play into our hands. Whoever your worst corner is, we're going to put either three of those guys on them. So when you come to me and you talk about all of these mismatches that are in your favor, which honestly I feel like the only one is probably D-line versus offensive line, and maybe that's really more so defensive interior because Jonah is not a scrub. Quentin Span is not a scrub, which you should know that. And Trey Hopkins has been up and down. So if you are going to try to get something done, yeah, it could possibly be on the right side of the line. But here's the other thing. Just because the line might break down on the play, we all know this. That doesn't mean that you're going to get Joe Burrow. That really doesn't mean that you're going to Joe Burrow is one of the best in the league when it comes to improvising on the run. How many times have we seen since about the last 5 weeks that Joe's pocket presence has been amazing? So for me, that's another thing. And then when we get into talking about their receivers, I respect Julio, I respect AJ, right? But I don't think that they respect Cheeto, and I don't think that they realize how good Cheeto is. That's why if you follow me at New Stripe City on Twitter, that's why I kind of talked about, like, yeah, Cheeto can really lock people up, and he's been doing that this entire season. Go ask Tyreek Hill, 2 catches for 10 yards. Go ask Justin Jefferson. Go ask Adam Thielen. Go ask all of these guys that he's played. And if you want big receivers, he's done that too. Mike Williams. I'm not saying that he's going to shut AJ down. I've only said that he will slow him down. And I know that he will slow him down. And shout out to the $2 super chat there. Appreciate that, bro. But I don't think people are really looking at this game from a matchup standpoint, from the logistics standpoint. If the Bengals want to win this game, I think that we all know they can shut down a run, they can limit the run. When you do that and you give the ball back to Joe Burrow in this offense, how are you going to stop that? I just don't see how the explosive plays and all of that are just gonna be negated and all of that. And so for me, that is what I feel like needs to be said about this game. If you're talking about a matchup, this matchup, all these matchups in this game, whether it's the Titans running the ball against our run defense, whether it's the Bengals throwing the ball against that secondary, majority of them favor the Bengals. And that's not a slight to the Titans or anything like that. Yes, they have more experience. I'm going to give them that, right? But I don't think this Bengals team, I don't think experience matters, right? Because they're doing things that they have never done before, and they're basically running with a team full of captains and winners. So, yes, they may not have exact playoff experience. Now, some of them do, right? But they have experience in big games. They have experience in winning championships. They have experience in it says in all walks through life of being in games this big, playing on the road. And so for me, that's not really valid. And when you talk about experience, it's one thing if you're going against a Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, right, and he's got this experience. You can't tell me that looking at Ryan Tannehill's experience isn't valid. Where's his experience at? And I'm not trying to rip into the guy or anything, but I can only go off of what I have seen. And what I have seen is a person that has limitations when it comes to the playoffs. There's nothing wrong with that. That's their system. They like to hand the ball off with Ryan Tannehill or whatever. But at the end of the day, when the game is on the line and you just go across any NFL game, the X factor is always the quarterback. And to me, Joe Burrow definitely gives us the advantage there. So there's a lot of advantages that really are in the Bengals' favor. You talk about the tight end too. That's in our favor. So for me, it's just been kind of wild that there's like the Bengals have no chance or this and that. Like, come on, man. Like I'm just not with it. And this whole Derrick Henry thing too. As I said earlier, I respect Derrick Henry. I know that he is a future Hall of Famer, but it is a stretch to say that this man, after breaking his foot from overexertment, having 200 plus carries within the amount of games that he had, right? That is what caused the injury. If you listen to Pro Football Doc, that's what caused the injury. And if you watch Pro Football Doc, what he said is that he's clearly favoring his right foot. So if he's going to be effective, he's not going to have the same kind of cut, movement, and all of that on his right foot. Now, if he goes to his left, yes, he said that. He said that if you look at him to the left, when he goes to the left, it's completely different. Shout out to Rusty and T for the super chat 499. Number 85 is going off on Jack Rabbit. I love T Higgins to go off in this game. I love it because T Higgins is from Tennessee. It's a playoff game. He's going to be playing in front of his family. If you don't think T Higgins is going off, I don't know what to tell you. But here's the thing. Back to the injury. The Pro Football Doc guy said that he feels like Derrick Henry is only going to get about like 15 touches. 15. He felt like it. There's no way he felt like that he's going to get 30 touches or anything like that. So you're going to have to do a committee. Yeah, you could give him 15 to 20, but that's not going to win you a game against the Bengals. And if you think that it's going to be 6 yards per carry and all of that, that's not happening. And a lot of people are talking about they're basing that off of the last game, right? The Bengals played nickel the whole time. You're not gonna concentrate on stopping the run against the Raiders. So if you think that we're gonna have the same game plan for a team like the Raiders that passes the ball the majority of the time, for a team like the Titans, where you run the ball all the time, That's not happening. That's not how our defensive coordinators work. So if you think that that's what it's going to be, you're in for a long day. And so with that being said, you have a Derrick Henry that's less than 100%. He is also facing a stiff run defense, and you're telling me that you're gonna just run all over us for 200 yards. The other thing is this too: the corners that we have, like they always want to get them out on the boundaries. One of the big things that the Bengals have done, and that's why I think they're kind of asleep on this. We're built for this because we play in a division with the Browns and the Ravens, two teams that run the ball. One of the results of that is that the Bengals went out and signed corners that we have that are very good at tackling. Now, I'm not saying that Derrick Henry's not going to break any tackles, but these guys happen to be really good at trying to get guys down. And so we'll see what happens with that. But I love the Bengals in this game. But I think there's a lot of kind of crazy comments. Like a lot of people thinking, why are the Bengals so confident? Just look at the matchups. And when you look at it from that perspective, you talk about the Bengals receivers versus the Titans receivers. Not saying that AJ Brown isn't going to have an impact on this game. He will, but it will be limited by Cheeto. And when you look at the Titans corners, you look at the Bengals corners versus those receivers, respectfully, the advantage is in the Bengals' favor, and that's not bias. That's not anything. If you feel like Jack Rabbit Jenkins is on the same level as Cheeto, I don't know what to tell you. Go look at PFF. Go look at any metrics that you want to look at and see there. Now, if you want to talk about the safeties, I get that. Your safeties are good. So are ours. Von Bell is not a scrub. Jesse Bates is not a scrub. And so when you talk about just those aspects of the game, I think there's a lot of stuff being taken out of context and carried away with. And I just can't understand how a lot of people are acting like the Bengals don't have a chance to win this game, especially with Joe Burrow, especially with the path that he's on right now. Bro, we going to see. But yeah, I've seen them doing this whole ticket rule change and all of that. Yeah, bro, y'all can do whatever it needs to happen, but if you don't show up at 4:30 with a plan that's gonna work, see that's the difference between us and the Titans. We could make the Titans one dimensional. We can play either way. We can pass or we can run. Either which one you want. Because if you think like Joe Mixon, if you're telling me that a hurt Derrick Henry can get off on a top five run defense, then why can't Joe Mixon? You just assume immediately that Joe Mixon isn't going, okay, that's fine. But see, I'm not here saying that. I'm not here saying that Joe Mixon is going to run for 6 yards per carry or anything crazy like that, or he's just going to get off. But you know who is going to get off? The MIGOS. So we'll have to see. I like our chances. I can't wait till the game kicks off this weekend. Thank you guys. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. I truly appreciate that. Hit that like button. I'm going to be going live just random times now. I feel like sometimes we got to do these lives. I was watching something and was like, if you want a freestyle or something like that, whoever does live freestyles, you guys know that this is off the dome. I don't write notes down. It's all in here. So I'm going to start doing more of these to bring more content because, not every time can I always drop something with, with just an intro or something on it. Sometimes I just gotta go live. But yeah, man, look at what I just showed. Like when I saw that the other day, I was on the NFL app and I was looking at the game preview, and it was like them versus wide receivers, 31st in receiving yards, 31st in touchdowns, 31st. Like it was bad. It's bad. So I mean, it's just a matchup thing. It's just a matchup thing. That's how I feel about it. I'm fully confident in the team this weekend. Like I said before, this is the path that I would rather go on rather than playing the Bills and the Chiefs on the other side. I would definitely rather play the Titans in this situation and the Raiders coming off of that. So we'll see how it goes. But as usual, I leave you guys with a who day all day, every day, and especially on Sunday.